Hello everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Happy to connect with all of you. Yes, so welcome to today's session. And today we are discussing something related to the writing essential component. And the material that we would be using in our Montessori class is called Movable Alphabet. Okay, so let me quickly introduce you to Movable Alphabet. So we're going to be starting with Movable Alphabet. We're going to cover only 2 exercises for today. One is movable alphabet, one is metal insets, because these are little time consuming exercises. Okay. So first of all, let's understand what is a movable alphabet. Why do we use it in our Montessori classes? Or what is its significant importance into it? Now, so far we have learned all the letters, uppercase letters and lowercase letters. But do you find uppercase letters in most of the print? Wherever you, whatever books you find, do you find only uppercase letters or you find more of lowercase letters? We find more of lowercase letters.
Yes.
Anything that if I open a book, I would be able to find more of lowercase letters, right? So we would be avoiding as much as possible about the capitalization. So we are not going to be using much of capital letters in our writing from now on. Okay, so you will not introduce any of the capital letters for children. Rather, you will be helping the child to work on small letters. Okay, and to work on this, we are going to work on a material called movable alphabet. Why I say it as a movable alphabet is because it is a manipulator. When I say manipulative, they come with tiny letters like this. Say, for example, if I'm choosing my letter V, they come in tiny letters like this, okay? So I can move them. So that's the reason I call this as movable letters. Now, if you see, there are differences in my vowels and consonants also. My vowel is in color blue and my consonant is in color pink. So likewise, I would be having individual letters for each of my letter. What is important over here now? I have to make letters. I can make sounds. I can actually make words out of it. I can make phrases out of it. I can make sentences. I can make paragraph. There are different usages. Okay. So here is what we're going to be starting here is like, why should we consider movable alphabets in our classes? The first important advantage of using this particular material is it provides something called as hands-on exercise. What do you mean by hands-on exercise? It keeps our children busy. So when I ask you why should we use it, it is generally used to introduce letters. It is used to differentiate between the vowel and consonant because the color itself differentiates. It helps the children to work on hands-on learning. Now, this is where the child recognizes a particular letter, the child understands the letter sound, and at the same time, the child is able to touch the letter and they would be able to reinforce in understanding the shape of the letter. Now, what do I mean by the shape of the letter? Now, say for example, I can have a combination of letters which will have the same pattern. For example, letter C, I can have letter A, I can have letter D, I can have letter E, right? There could be many letters which will follow the same pattern at the beginning and they might actually get connected with the other strokes also. Now here, it helps the children to understand the shape of a letter. What is the shape of this letter? What is the form of it? When I touch it, what is my texture? So touch is also essential. So the child is also able to get the reinforcement of the touch. We all agree on that particular thing, right? So now, not only I introduced the letter to the child, but also didn't I work on sensorial exploration? I also gave them a little bit knowledge on holding that letter. So that means the child was able to explore the tactility of that particular letter. They were able to understand the direction at how every letter can be actually done. So this is going to help the child to work on their memory. The more you give them these exercises, the more the child would be able to retain that letter and the letter formation. Clear, all of you? So we worked on one, so we worked on third. So what could be my third one? Anyways, my language is getting introduced to me. right? I am going to be helping the child to read eventually. I will help them to write eventually. That was my overall language acquisition. I wanted my child to read and write. So no matter what materials I would use, but towards the end, I have to make sure that the child is able to read and write. When I'm doing this particular process, I would also get into something called as my position. Okay. Now, what do you mean by position? What do I mean by position here? Now, position is where I have to keep that letter. Say, for example, if my letter H is here, where should I place the letter W? Should I place it here? No, I should be placing it here. Now, what about my letter G or letter anything? So it has to come down like this, right? So that's how the positions and placements will also take a place. So we use another mat for it called as felt mat. So I will show you all of that, but I wanted to tell you an overall gist of why we exactly use this material. Okay, so please take down the notes for it and we will go to that particular exercise. So do I need any of my material? So do I need any of my material? What is the material required? Now you got to tell me. I've explained it. You got to tell me. Yes? I need my material called as Movable alphabet. Now, did you notice is there any difference between both the materials? Did you notice any differences?
Yes, ma'am. Color.
Color? Some can be red, some can be.
Vowel is in blue color.
Yes, that is common. Different. I'm asking what is
Cursive
different?
writing and normal writing.
Yes, there is cursive
Cursive
writing and there is print form, right?
print form.
That is there. What is the second difference that you actually found? Did you notice in the second one, all the vowels are kept on top?
Yes, ma'am.
See here, everything is kept on top, right?
Yeah.
So now let's take a look at the next one. None of the letters are in sequence in the second one. It is kept based on what letters will occupy the minimal space.
Position.
What letters will occupy more in length? See, B, D, G, H, J, K,
F.
they all are of same
F.
size. Now look at
Yeah.
F, it is more longer.
More
It has
longer.
got more space. Now in the
More.
first one, everything was given the same space. To utilize the material effectively, this is one of the arrangement. Okay. So now when I remove each one of them, there would be a letter which would be written also. So you will not have any difficulty in identifying which one to keep and where to keep. For example, let me show you that. Now, if I bring that material to you and show it, this is my movable alphabet material. Okay. So this is what I have it. So let me remove the backdrop. Okay. This is the movable alphabet that we are going to be learning with. Now here, what you can notice here is like, did you see? I have so many compartments. If you see here on the top is all my vowels, then bottom is where I have all my consonants. Now, anytime if I'm removing any of the letter, say for example, if I'm removing these letters, can you still see there is a L marking here? I've removed all
Yes.
of them. So you can still know that you have to keep your letter L here. So this will give you a good amount of knowledge on this. Now what I have is again a print font. I don't have a cursive font because we're using print fonts at school. So we're going to be using only this. So what they also come in different sizes. There is one of the movable alphabet which is even bigger than this. There could be another movable alphabet set which is little tinier. Even tinier letters you will actually get. So the choice of the sizes is totally up to the schools what you want to actually give them. Okay. So I'm just putting it under uh, this one so you can see it better. Okay. Now, sorry, you bear with me today. I have my device is not aligned properly. Okay. So can you see now here?
Yes.
Yes. Can you see all of that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I have my vowels on top. I have different consonants and different positions for each one of them, which is being aligned with. This is one material that I will have to be using to introduce children towards the actual writing. Okay, so actual writing. So this is called movable alphabet. So let's note down on how we actually work onto it. Okay, please grab your book. We're going to make the points on it. So we have understood both these differences. Now is what we're going to do. So what is my material? What is the name of my experiment?
Movable alphabet.
Yes, movable alphabet is my name of the experiment. So, okay, so it's called the movable alphabet. Okay, now what are the materials required?
Movable alphabet slate.
Uh-huh.
Slate. Movable alphabet letters.
Yes. What else you need? What else you need?
Tray.
Okay,
Tray.
yes, very good. So you need a movable alphabet and you need a working mat because you definitely need a bigger mat. You need a sitting mat wherein the child will be able to sit comfortably and they would be able to work on it. Okay. Next, what else you need?
Tray.
Do we need a tray? Okay. So I'm going to keep some tray. In case if I need some picture cards, I'm going to also keep.
Plaster.
Yes, picture cards, picture cards. You're going to tell it as picture cards. In case if I need any sentence cards, I'm going to keep a sentence card. In case if I'm using a paragraph, I need to have that paragraph also. Okay. So these would all be my prepared material. So I need to have these prepared. Readily it has to be there. Much before that, I need to also have some words, right? Because before the sentence word comes. Now I can introduce article a, and the. So when I use an article with my word, that becomes my phrase. So I would also have some labels, which is a phrase. I will have some sentence cards. I will have some paragraph cards. That means how should I have it? Okay. So let's quickly see how can I have the words. Now see, for example, in case if I'm working on a 80 word family, okay. Now, if I want to introduce my children to some of the words, what do I introduce to? I need to have a label. We all agree? We need to have some labels, right? So you have to give the child some labels. Okay. I'm just taking 3 of them. Okay. So you can have the label here. Now here, what you do here is like, since it is 80 word family, I would have my label just like this. Okay. So it has to be a label card. The teacher will have to prepare these cards and keep it ready. Whenever you are introducing movable alphabets, these cards should be ready. Clear, all of you? The cards you will make it and keep it ready. Okay. So then I can have mat, whatever word that you're introducing, these labels has to be ready. You have to readily keep all of that. So this becomes your first preparatory exercise. Similar to the same thing, now I can also give a picture of a cat. I can also have a picture of a mat. Or if I have a tiny miniature object, I can also bring that particular object, right? And I can also show and I can construct it. So these would be your prepared exercises. Likewise, I can also have my label. Okay. Whenever I'm saying label, it has to be in this particular thing. Okay. So this becomes my phrase. I can have in one label, I can have a mat. Okay. A mat. So that becomes my phrase. Or I can have a phrase like the mat. That becomes my phrase where I'm introducing an article to it. So you have to keep your sentences ready altogether. Likewise, I can also have a sentence card, a cat on a mat. When I'm having a sentence, I need to also make sure I will be keeping a full stop at the end of the sentence, and I have to make sure the full stop is in red color. These are all the rules at which you're going to make your label cards. Then I can have another one wherein I can have a small paragraph. Now, what could be my paragraph? A cat, a fat cat, a fat cat on a mat, a fat cat on a mat with a rat. Okay, so maybe some small paragraph I can have, but we have to make sure that the words, whatever are there, will be of what? It will be of my, it will be of my what?
At family word.
At family words, because we are reiterating the same thing, right? So these are all the different words that you should have introduced much before to the child. Now, what is all new? Now, anytime that I tell you this, can you imagine that picture? If I say cat, can you imagine the picture? Everybody can imagine the picture?
Yes.
You all can imagine, right? When I say fat cat, can you imagine the picture?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then I say a fat cat on a mat. Can you imagine a picture?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct? So we will be able to work on it. So how do I introduce that in different stages? I have to draw a picture and I say cat. Since it's a phrase, I say a cat. Now the cat was very fat. So what do? I say a fat cat. Now what did you notice here is fat is an adjective and cat is a noun. Always an adjective is before a noun. These we would also see in a grammar symbol box. Then the same thing I can extend a cat on a mat. A cat is wearing a hat, and you can go on and on with the picture. So it will help the children to also identify much better in your paragraph reading. Clear, all of you? So this is one of the, preparation that you will have to be working on it. Now, what are these words? Like your cat, your fat, then your mat, your rat. They are all from 80 word
80
family,
word
correct?
family.
They're all from 80 word family. Now, anytime since I was able to relate to my picture, I had good amount of knowledge in identifying that particular word. I was able to relate to it. So that's the reason I also call these words as knowledge words. Okay, I also call these as knowledge words because anytime I say cat, the child is able to remember that. Now, what was new for me is I have some new words in the same paragraph. Can you identify what were the new words? As a teacher, you did not introduce, but there were so many words which came in between when I was writing a sentence. Can you tell me what was that? I
Yes,
had
ma'am. On,
with,
on, as,
yes,
with,
it was new for me. A was new. Then on was new. Right? Yes.
on, with,
With was new for me. Correct. So likewise, anytime that I'm
With.
introducing these new words, now I need to segregate those words also. Now, for example, if A, I can also put that under a sight word. Every time I have this letter A, I have to say a cat, a fat cat on a mat, right? The first time it becomes a long vowel sound because it takes a capitalization. So I can put that also under my sight word. Now, on is again a sight word. What are sight words? Which appears again and again in all my story sequence. So the child need not by heart. So you will keep adding on to your list, which makes it much more easier for my child. I can also, this is also a positional word, right? It is also a positional word. What is a positional word? Positional word is nothing but my preposition, right? It is a preposition. I can say a fat cat on a mat, or I can say a fat cat behind a mat. I can use that. So positions can keep changing. I can say a fat cat in front of a mat. So anytime that you're introducing those, you figure it out. Can it be phonetically given to a child? If it cannot be phonetically given, you have to do a rote learning. Okay. So that new words, whatever in your paragraph that you're getting, which cannot be phonetically coded. Okay. I'm writing here, which cannot be phonetically decoded. I call them as sight words. Now, these are very, very, very important. So, I don't know how you will mark. Okay. Sight words are very important for your story times. Okay. So, you have to always keep on adding to different number of sight words. Clear? So, this is all your preparation. So, as teachers, materials required is your set. Along with that, the teacher has to prepare all these cards and keep it ready. It totally depends on what is the class lesson that you're going to be having. Is everybody with me? Yes. Now coming down to presentations. How do we present? I hope everybody is writing in the same columns and other things because you will not have time to make notes, fair notes and all of that. Okay. Now how do we present? You will invite. Huh? You will invite?
Child.
Invite
Cards.
children. Children can be in small groups,
Circular.
maybe 3 to 4, or children can be in large groups. It depends on you. Okay, it could be your full class. Now, what is your sitting position, guys? What is your
On
sitting
knee.
position?
They have to sit on knees.
Semicircle, and at the same time, they can sit on knee. Okay, so that's most comfortable position for your child. Now, after that, what as a teacher you would introduce to the child? What will you introduce? You will show the child where the material is kept. Correct? Where the material is kept. Now, once the child understands that, you can help the child to bring material because movable alphabet is heavy. So they need help. The children need help to carry from one place to another. So you need to help the children to actually bring it from one place to another. Okay? So we're going to help children, right? We're all good teachers, so we're going to be helping our children also. Correct? So this is there. Now, moving to the next part of your presentation, what is the next way that you're going to be presenting? Hmm?
Picture cards.
Ovals.
Yeah. Now, first thing, what you have to do is like you did everything. The material is so new to the child, right? The child is like, uh, this material, every time what we have seen is like whenever we give that, it is important that we observe what they do it with that material because it's got so many letters and other things. Now, what would you see as soon as you give this? What all can children say?
Ma'am, this is blue color. This is pink
Yes,
color.
ma'am, this is blue color. Ma'am, this is pink color. Ma'am, I can see the letter. Ma'am, I know the sound of this particular letter. And they start taking it out, right? So that is when, as a teacher, you would say, children, vowels are all in blue color. Did you notice that? Children, consonants are in pink color. Did you notice that? Okay, this is something that you will start observing. And as a prerequisite, what you need to be working over here is like the children can also be given your sandy letters. If at all you're finding it difficult to write or something, you can also bring the previous material, keep it together with them, and they would be able to write it also. So don't ask multiple questions and other things. Now, in your first presentation, what would you introduce to the child is to build words. Okay. Now we saw in the previous exercise also, I gave a picture. Now you need to build picture, correct? So how do we build? I'm going to show you that right now. How are we going to build? I'm going to show you right now. Please watch. Okay.
L07 are small wooden movable alphabet.
Okay. Here we go. Can you see? It's still working. Can you see now? Can you see
Yes.
the movable alphabet?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
This is a very traditional one. Now, what is important for us is like we start constructing the letters. The letters could be of anything. So it can have different kinds of vowels, words with vowel A, words with vowels B, or you can even construct the letters into sequences, all of that. So this is your first thing. The second difference what you will give is like you will take out only the vowels and you can say, children, these are vowels and vowels are very special. So A, E, I, O, U. You sing a song on vowels. You teach them the writable positions of how you need to be writing the vowels. Okay. Then you go with your consonants. And then you can also introduce what is the positions of individual letters. You have to teach them the front side of it and the back side of it also. The front side is colorful. The back side is not colorful. So sometimes they don't know how to keep it also. They might reverse it and keep it. So they have to always keep towards the colorful side itself. All these things would become your prerequisite in your presentation wherein you would differentiate. Even M and W children have difficulty. So you teach them how M looks, how W looks. Clear, all of you? So this is my first step before I introduce my topic. Once this is done, I'm going to be introducing the actual lesson for my child, wherein I am going to be showing them the differences of how do I construct my letter. Okay, I'm going to show them about the positions itself. Now this one, what do you see here on top? I have a picture and there is a mat, right? So there's a picture of bat. You individually differentiate the sounds. You say b, at is bat. And that, the second picture, you individually give the children the sounds of it and the child will be able to construct the letter sounds. It could be like dog, d, or g. Okay, the child should be able to give you the words. Now, what did I do here? I'm associating the picture to the letters, right? So I'm giving a picture to the child and the child will have to make the letters. Instead of dictation, they would be able to make the letters. So likewise, you will do for more and more. Now, what did we just construct here? We constructed a 3-letter CVC word using your movable alphabet. So that's your first presentation. Now go back to your book. What is your first presentation that we have to do here, guys? You have to build words. Now, what is your words? You have to build CVC words. For that, you have to give a picture and the child will have to be making a, okay, you have to
Words.
build your words. So you will start with your CVC words and your child is going to build the sequential words altogether. Now, once I've done my this, you will always have difficulty in case if your children are not able to do. Okay, even though you give pictures, the child is not able to do the spellings. Do we have children like that in our classes? We do
Yes.
have. So we do have children who cannot do. That means there could be multiple reasons. One is age. The child is too young to understand. Second thing is the readiness. The child is not ready to identify the sounds. So we encounter problems when the child is not ready or when the age is still not ready to work with this particular exercises. In that case, what you do? What do? You go back to your sandy letters, teach them to trace. Again, you go back to your jolly phonic. You help them on working on the sounds. Now they become a little confident. Now you're good to go. Once the letters is able to do. Now in your third presentation is what you will start using the words. Along with the words, you will introduce the article a, an, and the. So those are your articles. Okay, so those are your articles. Your a, your an, and the are your articles. You start making phrases. Phrase, what is a phrase? Phrase is the short sentence. Phrase is a shortest sentence that we can actually give it to a child. So you help the child to build phrases. Okay, now one thing which is important here is since there are two words which is involved, what you should always give? What you should always give? You should always work on finger gap. Okay, from here is where we'll introduce finger gap. Now, finger gap, where will you use? On your notebook. Okay, But in case if you're constructing on a mat, you will give a palm, 4 palm. The 4 fingers is what you keep, and then you go with your next word. You give that gap. So this is very essential because the child is now learning a shortest sentence, and finger gapping is something which is very important. What is the next thing? Next important thing? Also, I have to introduce period. What is period? Period is nothing but full stop. These are the 2 things that you're going to start here. Okay, one is finger gapping, one is putting a full stop. So this is your presentation 3. Okay, in my presentation 3, what do? I introduce words with articles to make my phrases. Every time that I'm introducing my phrases, I have to also introduce finger gap to a child and a period. Okay, so that becomes my exercise. Now my presentation 4, what do? Now you know the drill. What do we do? Phrase done. What's my presentation 4? I make my sentences, right? So when I'm making sentences, what I have to understand? One is my finger gap. Next, my full stop. What is important? I need to also remember about my grammar. That means grammatically correct sentence. For example, I can't say cat up the mat. Children do say that, right? Where is the cat? Ma'am, cat up the mat. So this is grammatically wrong. So you have to make sure cat is on the mat. So you have to make sure the child says the sentences correctly. So in this sentence formations, it is not only important that you work on the previous exercises, but you should also work on expressing your grammar sentences over here. Then in my 5th presentation, I work on, what do I work? My presentation 5, this is where I work on my sentences. So I build a story, right? So that's called my story building. Now, this is where my child will start writing. Now, what I need to be working over here is like, you need to, because it's a big story, whatever the mat will not be sufficient. Mat will be very tiny, right? So you have to get a big rug, some big cloth for the child. So rug would be good enough. And you need to also work on larger spaces for children. Now, at the same time, since they're writing, you need to also give a topic that interests the child. So then they will start introducing the letters about it, maybe the story sequences and all of that. Okay. So this is something that we will be working. Now, what is the purpose of it? Why do we do it? We all know, why do we do this? What is the purpose of doing this exercise?
To introduce the letters and
Very good. To introduce letter sounds, to introduce words, to introduce sentences. Same thing. You have to just repeat the same. So that, indirectly, what are you preparing? What is your indirect preparation? Reading.
reading, writing.
Yes, reading and writing. See, direct purpose will be towards introducing all. Indirectly, you are preparing the child to read and write. Correct? Now, what could be my control of error? What could be my control of error? Where do I make mistakes?
Misplace the letters.
Very good. In recognizing the letters, definitely yes. I might make mistakes in recognizing the letters. Positioning the letters?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, positioning the letters also. I might have difficulty there also.
Yes.
That is also there, right? Now, what could be the age at which I can start this exercise?
Grammar.
6 years, 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, usually 4 years. 4 to 5 is what you can actually give them when they're like LKG. Not at the beginning because the children are still learning. So you can go with sandy letters. Maybe at the second quarter, third quarter, you can actually introduce. So this is your writing material that is called as your movable alphabet. Clear, everyone? Easy? Okay. So just to quickly go back. So movable alphabet comes in 2 different kinds of boxes. Now, I need to also talk about, I forgot to tell you about something. Yeah. You can also note it comes in different sizes. Okay. The material sizes I will give you. Okay. So it comes in 3 different sizes. Now it totally depends on the teacher and the school. So whenever we order a large, what I showed you now is a medium one. When I order a large movable alphabet, it's very large. Okay. So that's something that we will not be able to make it also. So that's something which is too big. So we usually don't prefer. Medium size is the one that I showed you. You work with a medium size. For a class of say 30 to 40 children, this medium set is good enough. Okay, so this medium set is good enough. One medium set is good enough. If they're more than that, maybe like 2, 3 is what you need to have. Like 2 sets of vowels and all the 4 sets of consonants, if you have it, it becomes helpful for all of them. Okay, then you also have the small set. Now, small set is slightly given for little older children who already have learned and they're very quick in making it up. So here in this small movable alphabet, we will not have vowel separate color and consonant separate color. Now all will be of same. Okay, what do I mean by all same color? Your vowels, your consonants, everything is going to be of the same color in the small step because the child has mastered everything, right? So we don't have to differentiate between the vowel is blue or the consonant is pink. It is going to be in the same color. So this is something that you need to be working. So you will choose the mat which is appropriate to the size of the material that you have chosen. So you have to prepare, you have to bring all these materials, you have to have picture cards, words, phrases, sentences, paragraphs, and all of this. And then is what you're going to invite the children and you will introduce the material and you will observe certain things, how the child is working. And then you will start building all these presentations stage by stage and you will grammatically go in the rightful way. So this is your movable alphabet. Now coming down to the next material, which is something very similar to what we actually have it. And that is our, what I could say, metal insets. Please write down. So we have the next material that is called metal insets. Metal insets. Okay. So my board is not proper. Okay. So this is your metal inset. So I'm going to remove all this. Okay, so we're going to the next material that is called as our metal inset. It's one of the interesting material I could say. Okay, now before introducing metal inset, I will just show you how it looks. Okay, the name sounds very fancy, but it is nothing but something like this. Name is very fancy, metal inset. But have you seen something similar? This?
Yes, ma'am.
Something very similar, right? So when I remove this, this is my frame. This is the inset. The inset will have a knob, and every time that you're taking this inset, you have to use your pencil grip. Pencil grip is nothing but the 3-finger grip, and you use this. Now, there is a prerequisite for all of that, is like you have to use only color pencils to draw an impression. And we have to also use a paper which is just right the size of the frame. So your prerequisite will be, you will take a paper which is just the right size of it. Okay, so both of them, it should be the right size of it. This is the prerequisite that you're going to be having. Now, when I'm putting this down, I need to also have another board. I don't have a board right now. The board will also be of the same size. You keep the board first. Then on top of it, you keep the paper. Then you keep
Ma'am,
your frame. Yes.
ma'am, can you please mute everyone, ma'am? So much of noise.
Yes. So you will have 3 things. One is your, I could say, is the base of it. or I could say the pad, writing pad of it. Then I'm going to keep the paper. Then I'm going to keep my metal frame. Now, what is the next thing that I'm going to be using here is like, there's one thing that we have to avoid using is the usage of your pen. You can't use pen. You have to be using only pencil. You can't use pen. You have to use only pencil for this particular exercise. Now, you can use the regular normal lead pencil, or you can also use the different color pencils. There are what I could say is like exercises that you do is you do an impression here. You could help the child to trace. Can everybody see the tracing? So this is your inward trace because I did my inward tracing. Now I need to take this one and I have to exactly place it. When I have to be exactly placing it, my hand and eye should be coordinated very well. It might be easy for me, but for a child, it's a challenging task. They have to rightfully place it, and with the help of their other hand, they have to position it and see here. They have to also move their finger. Now, what happens here is like if they don't give a proper pressure, if the hand does not align properly, you will find a lot of mistakes like that. Can you see here? When I'm bringing it closer, can you see it is not aligning properly? Can you see this? All these things would become my error of control for a child, and you're still working on the stability of the child itself. Now, this is my first exercise wherein I take any one metal inset and I would do this outward and inward. What's my next thing is I can give a child a coloring pencil or a sketch pen and I can ask them to color. I'm so sorry. I can ask them to color. Can I ask them to color inside? See, you did not give anything. The child was the one who did everything, and the child is now able to color. Right? So when they're coloring, you will now follow the rules. Either you go from right to left, left to right, or you go from top to bottom and then you color. So you have to give them the rules of how exactly you need to color. This is one thing. So when you're giving them color full, it's called completely filled in. But when you ask them to draw a pattern, children draw patterns. I can draw straight lines. All these need not have ruler. It has to be free hand drawing. Now these patterns can be anything. It can be horizontal lines, it can be vertical lines, it can be zigzag lines, it can be putting circles onto it, anything. It is a child's art that you're going to be giving. Now, why we work on this is because this is a pre-writing skill. When you actually ask the child to trace over on something, it helps them to actually trace. So can we also bring two materials from each one of your house, which we can do that intersection, or you will do this on Saturday? I'll show you how to do it. You will do it on Saturday.
Yes.
That will be better. Okay. Now please note down what is my material that I'm going to be having it. Okay. So let's go back to our writing part of it. Let's go to our writing part. So we're going to our metal insets. Okay. So shall I show you about, okay. Let me also show you one more. So that was one. It has different stages. So my stage one was this. My stage two is the same thing, wherein I am going to use my first shape and then I am going to intersect with my second shape. Can you see this is a different shape? I'm going to have the intersection of this. So this is my second stage wherein I'm using two different shapes and then I can fill the shape with one color. And I can color the inner part with a different color. Okay, so I can help the children to actually work on that particular way. So this is my stage 2. Stage 3, we would see even more complex things wherein we can have multiple, images, multiple impressions. multiple patterns, and even the directions, forward, backward, clockwise, anti-clockwise, dark pressure, light pressure. You will see different kinds of stages altogether. Okay, so let's quickly go to that exercise. Please go back. Okay, so now what I need here, the name of the exercise is my metal inset. I don't work on any of the sizes here. It's a common size that I'm going to be having. Now I need to have insets. My insets are of the following shapes. What are the different shapes that I'll have? I will have a circle. This is my circle. Okay, please write down. The first shape is circle. Everybody wrote? Yes. Then I would have a square. Please write down. I would have a square. The second inset is my square. Okay. The third is my rectangle. So I have my rectangle. So this is my rectangle. Then I would have, what else I could have? I could have an oval. This is my oval. Okay. Then I could have a pentagon. I could have a pentagon. Where's my pentagon? Okay, it's here. So I have my pentagon. Okay. Then I have my
Triangle, oval.
triangle. Triangle, yes.
Triangle, oval.
Triangle, yes. I have my triangle. Correct. So I have my triangle. Now I have to move that
Oval.
side objects, no? So give me a little time. I'm like running around. Yeah, next, what else I can have?
Oval, oval.
Square.
Oval.
Oval, yes. Oval I finished.
Square.
So I have
Triangle.
a curvy linear triangle. Okay, I'm going to show you something. This is my
Diamond.
curvy linear triangle. This is curvy linear triangle, not triangle, but there are curves. So this is curvy linear triangle. Okay.
You can have a square. Then have diamond. Square.
Diamond, no. Whatever are there in my metal insets only I'm giving you. Don't write your shapes. You should write only that. Okay. Then I have a trapezoid. I have a trapezoid. So you have to write only what I'm giving. Now this set will have only these materials. So if you forget, look at the material, look at the names of it, and you have to write. So I have a trapezoid. Then the last one.
Parallelogram.
Huh?
Hexagon, ma'am. Hexagon.
No,
Parallelogram.
those things are not there. Those things are not there. Okay. Next one we have is a quatrefoil. Quatrefoil. Okay. So let me give you all the materials, whatever we have. We have a square, we have a triangle, we have a circle, we have a rectangle, all of that. Okay. So let me quickly share with all of you. Yes. So you have a square, you have a triangle, you have a circle, you have a rectangle, a oval, then a trapezoid, a pentagon, a curvilinear triangle, and a quatrefoil. Okay. So these would all be your insets that you're going to be having. Clear, all of you? Now with these insets, what are you going to be working on? Has everybody noted? Has everybody noted? Yes. So these are all your materials. Now I'm completed with my material. Now I need to work on my points. So that means I need to work on my presentation. So my presentation, I'm not writing that. Okay. So what should you write? You will invite children. So you will write all that, right? You will invite children in small groups. You will invite children in large groups. You will make them to sit in a semicircular way, and then you will present the child. Children, I am introducing a material called metal insets today. And then we start with our presentation. Presentation 1, under our presentation 1, we work on something called as double outline. Okay, so what is the first presentation that you're going to be working on? I want you all to work on something called as double outline. Okay, so that's your first one. What is double outline? You do twice. 2 times you're going to be doing. So that's your first one. So I think it's understood, right? So I don't have to do that again, right? 2 times is what you're going to be working on impression. Now, this one, you need to note here the presentation style. Okay. Now, since I have no space here, I have not shown you how it needs to be presented, but I'll show you in the PPT how you have to arrange it. Can you all see here? There is a stand. Can you all see the stand? There is a stand which comes to arrange these metal insets. So each of these metal insets needs to be arranged on the stand like this. Now can you see on top that there are color pencil holders? You have to keep different color pencils because I told you at the beginning itself, we are only using color pencils to work on this particular exercise. So only color pencils will be given. Correct? And now you need to be also taking a look at the bottom trace. Now, do you see the bottom part of it? What is the bottom part? It has a tray which holds the paper, which is exactly the same size. Now, do you see the center paper? After the child has completed something, the child will go and keep back. So you can either keep an empty tray or allocate a space where the child's work is also kept there for a teacher to actually see. Right? Now, you need to understand the color codes of it. Now, can you see here this side? I have how many frames? 10 frames. Your materials required, you have to write about metal frames. Okay, so these would be your materials. So you should have 2 stands, which is sloping. Okay, the stand should be sloping so that it helps the child to actually see and pick the material easily. Now the insets are square, triangle, what else?
Circle,
Circle,
oval,
oval, curvilinear triangle.
Square,
Now,
trapezoid,
yes,
pentagon, triangle.
correct. Now the next important thing is about the size of the frame. What is the size of the frame? You need to also write this. It is 14 centimeter by 14 centimeter. This is important for students who are taking diploma exam. You have to write the size of it also. The size of that particular metal frame is 14 centimeter into 14 centimeter. And what else you need to have? A colored pencils in a colored pencil holder. What else you need? You need a box to keep the finished work. You need to have a box or a tray to carry the paper holders. This is the setup that you're going to do. Shafali, I have to send the stand for you. I have received it recently. It's in Nekundi Center. I'll send it to you, but the metal frames are there. You can arrange it in this way. Pencil stands are all available. You can do that. Okay. Now coming to your first presentation, it's called your double outline. Now for double outline, you should not be giving all the pencils for a child. You should tell the child, pick a tray, go to that place, pick one sheet of paper, take any pencil that is of your choice. The child will pick that thing, come back and sit. And do what? They'll do all these impressions. The child can actually do all these impressions. So that's your first exercise that you're going to be working on. I'm going to show you practically how teachers can introduce this particular material. Let me bring that. Here we go. It's loading, guys. 1 second. Okay. So as a first thing, what you need to be working is helping the child. See, some of them, they would not have, some of the schools or some of the setups might not have all the color pencils. So in that case, you can have a small pencil holder by giving only 3 pencils of different colors. The choices are limited and the number of pencils are also limited. Now, what are the 3 important things which is required as a prerequisite? You need to have a metal inset, you need to have a paper, and you need to have a cardboard as a base. Now, this one is not a metal inset. Now, this is for all the schools or teachers who do not have the material. Still, you can do it. you can do this. This is your DIY. It's a craft material that they have done it. So I'm showing you that also. There's nothing that is going to stopping you from helping the child to actually work on it. So you're going to be positioning that, you're going to keep this, and you're helping the child to actually work on it. Now you can work on directional writing. You can remove this particular exercise. You can go with your coloring also. So when there is intersection, now see, when you're making patterns, you need to be this slow. The usage of metal insets, that's the reason we give it for slightly older children, like M2 and M3 only we give, because they would have developed the fine motor development, right? So it helps them to work on their the pencil grip and stuff like that. It helps them to work on their handwriting. So this would be your demonstrative part, like how slow you can actually go in. Okay. Now coming down to your exercises, we go with double filled in. Then you go with double outline filled in. Now, what do we mean by double outline filled in?
Coloring.
Yes, correct. So you will do 2 times double outline, but you will also fill in. So you can color it. You can ask the children to actually go and color it. So that's your second exercise. Now, what could be my presentation 3? Guess.
We can do, interaction,
Correct.
intersect the shape.
Yeah, intersection you can do. Much before that, you need to work on your dark and light pressure. Okay, so you need to also work on dark and light pressure. Now, how do we work on dark and light pressure over here? How do we work? Now here, you can take any one simple one. I'm just going to show you one of it. I'm using right now pen, guys, so that everybody will be able to see. So, no, I have to use pencil only. So I'm taking this. I'm using my oval. Okay, so I'm going to use here. So dark and light pressure. So I have to choose my starting point. I'll choose a starting point here. Half of it I'm going to do dark and half I'll do very light. So the child will also understand about how dark it is, the first half, and the other half, how light it is. It helps us to also work on the pressure also. So this is my presentation 3, wherein you would introduce on the pressure. One was on single outline, double outline filled in, dark and light pressure. Your questions can be any way. Your demonstration questions can be in any way. So as teachers, you should be prepared for all of that. Next could be my dark and light pressure fill in. With the same thing, I will also go and fill. One is drawing, one is filling. Now, the next presentation, I will use 2 figures. I will use 2 contrasting figures. And I will use 2 color pencils. Why 2 color pencils? One figure, one pencil, one color pencil. The other one, other color pencils. So for example, now I just use my oval. Now I can take my pentagon on this, but I would use a different color here. But right now I'm not using that. So I am going to be. So if I have a different color, you will be able to see that a little better. If I would have had a different color, you would be able to see. So 2 contrasting figures and 2 different pencils. Then 2 figures, 2 pencils. Then I can also have 3 contrasting figures. The next one, I will take 3 figures. So how many pencils I should have?
3.
3 pencils. Now filling in is up to you. Filling in is up to you. Okay, so you can fill in any different way. Okay, so this would be your different exercises that you're going to be working on. Now, why do you think we work on this exercise? What do you think would be the purpose for me? Why should I be using this?
Kids will increase the eye-hand coordination.
Very good hand-eye coordination, and most importantly, the strength, the
Strength, yes.
muscular strength for the child would also increase. So I can say this is pre-writing skill. It helps for
Yes.
me pre-writing. It is also helping me to prepare my geometrical skills. Drawing skills are improvising. And the child is able to also color better. That is also there. So it's also like I'm introduced to a writing instrument. It's an instrument, right? So my child is also being introduced to writing instruments. So they would love to work with all of that. So indirectly, it is helping me do what? Indirectly. Indirectly, I'm becoming so creative. Right? The children are becoming creative. What else? Children are making their own designs. They're making their own designs. Now, I want each one of you to draw a circle and make any pattern. Different pattern you have to make. Let's see how many different patterns we will get. Use lot of your mind and go little out of the box and make patterns to fill in. Let's see. A circle and fill in. I'll give you 2 minutes. Make patterns.
Ma'am, done.
Completed? Who's completed?
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi, where are you? Where are you? Okay. Okay. Wow. This is so good. Lakshmi, can you bring it a little closer? Guys, see, look at the pattern. It looks so good. Yeah, so many patterns. So you can encourage all these kinds of things in your classes. Very nice. Always use pencils, color pencils and this pencils, you can actually use it. Click that pattern and share it into the group, Lakshmi. Use color pencils only, don't use the regular ones.
Okay.
Guys, from Monday, there would be at a stretch some of the classes because I'm doing practicals. So 4:30 to 6:30, in case if somebody is already being engaged, I'll send you the recording of it. But at a stretch, we'll be having at least like 1.5 to 2 hours. Okay, I would need 10 days to go in sequence so that we will not have a break. And then we will get a lot of time to practice on Saturdays. So I would need that 10 days of continuity. Okay, so plan up your days accordingly. As I mentioned before, that whenever we have that phonic 5-day session and the practical 10-day session, we will have to do it together. Completed?
Practicals will be online.
Yeah, this is, we are doing practicals, we are doing online. Neha, but any time that you are passing by, no, come over to do this. Anytime you can come on Saturdays, it's open from 8:30 onwards till 2 o'clock. You guys can practice. See, it might look very simple, but unless and until you use the materials, it becomes little this thing.
I'm in Hyderabad. I'm not in Bangalore, so it's
Yeah,
difficult.
yeah. True. But Hyderabad also, there would be many Montessori schools. You can volunteer. You can volunteer and ask them, like, that you have to submit a report or something. At least go see the materials, experience it. Maybe for a week, you can go for an observation and see those materials. Many of the schools will permit.
Sure.
Okay, I have to check if any IMTTI is there in Hyderabad. Where exactly in Hyderabad? Which location?
Ma'am, I'm near financial district.
Financial district, is it? Okay. I'll just check if there's any center in Hyderabad. So you can go to IMTTI center and do there. They will have materials.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes. Done, guys? Can you show me? Okay, so I have Madhuri. Madhuri, zoom in. I can't see Madhuri. Yes, yes. That's a good one. Okay. Good one.
Ma'am,
Yes. Whoever is completed, please share it into the group. It becomes easy. Only that. Okay, now you can see Shefali is so colorful. Yeah, this is what we expect. Okay, this is what we actually expect. You got to do it in color pencils. As much as possible, try to encourage. Shefali, you can do it with Zuhan. Yeah, you can go with the simple ones and then you can actually work on it. Okay. Yes. Okay, so everybody together, can you just show it to me on the gallery mode? You can turn on your video, and that becomes our today's assignment. And show your face also. I'll show mine. It's a little bad, but I'll show mine. Okay, on the count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We still have Sonali, Shubhishri, Vasanta, Neha, you're connected to a Kavya, Annie. Okay. Okay. Good job. Cheese, everyone. Rupam, show yours. Book dikhana, baba. Okay. I've clicked. Okay, guys. So that's something that we need to be working on. Okay. So any clarifications, you can let me know on that. I'll be able to give you a note on that. Okay. So see you all on the coming week. Have a great weekend.
Ma'am,
Lots
in
of
this exercise, we didn't write control of error. Still,
control of error we didn't write.
no.
Why you didn't write?
No, just we did indirectly what is the
Okay,
purpose.
okay. Okay, indirectly we wrote on the purpose. What is the control of error? You can tell me. What is the control
Hand
of
grip,
error?
the director's itself.
grip of
Director, my
hand.
director. Now there is no director will not do the mistake.
Grip of hand by the children.
One is like we go out of line, right?
Ah,
Out of line, especially. The second thing is like when you're keeping the first one. The first one was your inward tracing, right? You did your inward tracing. Then the second time when you do your outward tracing, when you keep the inset, might not exactly keep it on the same position when you trace. That could also be one of the things. So positioning rightly on the paper. That can also be a problem, right? And then when we are coloring or when we are filling in also, the children will fill, I can say less, or they fill more, or it comes out. So they're not good with that. And then the strokes are not proper. Sometimes the pressure at which they are writing is not proper. These will all be your error of control. So it can actually go down. So you have to see error of control is think on the perspective of the material. It's where you can go wrong. The child can go wrong in outline. That could be your error of control. Age is yes, 4 to 5 years is what you can get. Age will be 4 to 5 years. I hope you have written it in sentences. Okay, I've just written it in bullet points. I hope you have written it in sentences. Okay, so yes. Anything that you wanted to ask? Clear? Clear?
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
can you explain third stage?
Which one?
Metal inset.
Hmm?
That I not understand the shape of curvilinear triangle.
Curvilinear triangle. See, curvilinear
Yeah.
triangle, the shape is like this. It's not a triangle. The name of this shape is curvilinear triangle.
And what about a trapezoid?
Hmm?
Trapezoid.
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 Yeah.
Trapezoid is this, not trapezoid, trapezoid.
Okay.
Shape
Can you
is
show that how
trapezoid.
it look? Can you show how it look, ma'am?
Yeah, see here. Can you see?
No, ma'am, I can't see.
Spotlighted. Can you see
Not
now?
it. No, ma'am, really. Can you little show up?
Yes, yes.
You have to do it, baby. You have to. I have spotlighted. Everybody can see. You scroll your mobile screen and see.
Not finding out, ma'am.
Go to the participant list. Pin Divya's mobile or Divya's device. Always
But
pin only me and the device. Don't see the gallery mode. Don't see your friends. Pin me and this, so you will be able to see me and the board. Me and the board. What I'm showing.
and what about water foil?
What a foil is this? This is water foil. This is water foil. Somebody is watching Shalini's episode. Huh? Okay. This is quarter foil. The shape name is quatrefoil. The shape name is trapezoid. So in this material, we are only going to use 10 of them for the metal insets. When we are working with a sensorial material that is geometric cabinetry, we will see all the shapes. At that time, we would be able to see all the shapes. Hexagon, pentagon, nonagon, decagon, octagon, all of them. Okay, guys? Okay, so I will have to leave. I have another meeting. So another 10-15 minutes. So I'm forcefully logging off. Have a great evening, all of you. Take care. Okay, see you all. Lots of love. See you in the next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, ma'am.